Hello class, I want to give you a highlight on the second part of your research project. What are the main areas that you need to consider? These are most common areas in dissertations, in thesis, or in any qualitative oriented research that we do. And I want just to make some highlights. And I'm assuming that from your previous class, like the research methods class or introduction to research, you are familiar with some of the concepts that I am going to highlight here. So let me share my screen, my PowerPoint, and explain. To begin with, we can refer to this chapter or to the second part as introduction or the problem and its setting. What does it include? It includes the background to the problem statement, research question, in most cases singular, a single question, but sometimes we can have two or three questions, purpose of the study, assumptions of the study which you did, scope or delimitations of the study, limitations of the study, rationale of the study, significance of the study, and then operational definition of key terms. Let me explain what this means. The background to the problem. This is the introduction to the problem. Based on literature review, you need to introduce to your reader what the problem is all about. In the first part of your project, you reviewed literature in detail. It is done. Now, can you summarize the main point as you cite literature? You have to cite, as you cite literature, summarize the main point that helps you to introduce your problem or your study topic. I give an example. If someone wants to research school community relations in Somalia, one way of doing that could be in one paragraph, talk about school community relations in Africa, highlighting the problem or the issues. Then narrow it down to Eastern Africa, and then ultimately talk about school community relationship issue in Somalia. Now that's a good introduction to the topic that you want to introduce. If that can help, you can do it in a different way. You don't need to write a lot of things here. Just half a page, maximum one page will be sufficient. After that, you have to state the problem, meaning the topic for your study, the research that you want to carry out, what it is all about. We are not asking research question here. We are asking some explanation, some statement that describes exactly what the study is all about. And you have some explanation given here. After the research problem, and this is further explanation what it is, you have to state the research question. All of you have done the research question. Just cut and paste what your research question is in one sentence. It is usually an interrogative statement. We don't need to talk more about that. After that, you can state the purpose of the study. Here you will see there is some repetition of ideas. It is okay. We just want to clarify from different perspectives our research topic. Go to Creswell and Pause 2018, your textbook, page 132. There is an example of purpose of the study. Just copy or rather adapt that in relation to your research topic, and that will be sufficient. All right. Then you will have a section for assumptions of the study. Last week, you already did this assignment. Remember, philosophical assumptions. We talked about what the axiological assumption related to your study are, the epistemological assumptions, the ontological assumptions, and the methodological assumptions. Go back to your paper from last week, copy and paste that section. But in the introductory part, just add a statement. The following assumptions are made in relation to my study. Number 1, 2, and 3 or 4. That's it. After that, significance of the study. This is different from rationale. Significance of the study means the explanation on how your study is expected to benefit society, like the field of education, family life, uh, school supervision, whatever the topic that you have. How is it going to be important? How is it going to be significant in society? You need to explain that, maybe in a half a page. You can explain. You can check previous study, like the dissertation that we have in the library. Go to the section where they have the significance of the study and see what they talk about, and then you can adapt similar ideas. The interpretive framework that you worked on last week can also give you an idea on how your study can be significant. Okay. Then comes the rationale. Rationale is the justification of the study. It is based on literature that you are justifying that this study must be done. It is worth of my time, my energy, my money. It is important to do this study because of so and so have said, experience has shown this. So give scholarly justification that necessitate your study. And look at examples. Then you have delimitation. Delimitation means the scope of the study. In simple words, tell us what you are going to cover in this study. The example I have here, my study, the example used, um, will collect data from parents and teachers in elementary school of Lower Shabelle region in Somalia. That is one example that explain the extent or the scope on how far I will go with my study. You can make two or three delimitations that explain your study. Again, look for examples from previous dissertations. Then you have limitation. Limitation is different from delimitation. When we talk of limitation, we are talking about situations and matters that arise outside of the researcher's control. The previous one, delimitations, excuse me, delimitations are within your control, but limitations are outside of your control. Simple example, due to COVID-19, it is expected that some participants may not be accessible, may not be available to the researcher. Or you can mention that you are anticipating to find some documents from library or from a certain organization, but it depends on the permission that you will obtain to access those documents. You are also expecting some financial support which might not be available. So you are telling us what would be the possible factors that limit, that constrain or challenge your studies. So in the example I mentioned earlier, one of the limitations was that this study will not include views of officers from the Department of Education and alumni, because the study was about school community relations. So I said I was going to rely only on parents and students. It is possible that the school of from the Department of Education alumni can also give me an idea, but I am not going to go into that. It is not part of my definition, my delimitations, because I can't access the people in the Department of Education. I can't access people who pass through that particular school. Okay, look at examples. Then, if you want, you can add theoretical framework. We already worked on this one. And then finally, you have to include the definition of key terms that will appear in your study. They may not be many, maybe 5, 10, I don't know, but just define how they are used in your study. All right. Thank you. If you have questions, please ask. All right. Bye.